I was the first pill that killed the pain. I was the promise to make you sane. I was the needle that kissed your vein. I was the high that broke every chain. I was the deal on the corner block. I was the habit you couldn't stop. I was the lie you told your mom. I was the money that came and gone. I was the mirror you couldn't face. I was the shame that took your place. I was the friend who walked away. I was the child you couldn't save. I was the job that you lost last week. I was the voice that made you weak. I was the craving at 3 a.m. I was the devil dressed as a friend. Round and round the devil's dance. Every hit's your only chance. I am the master, you're the slave. I am the shovel, you dig the grave. I was a mother who cried all night. I was a father who lost the fight. I was the brother who called the cops. I was the sister whose caring stops. I was the rehab that failed you twice. I was the dealer who raised the price. I was the overdose that nearly killed. I was prescription that wasn't filled. I was the baby born sick and small. I was the CPS making the call. I was the foster home that didn't care. I was the cycle of despair. I was the courthouse and the judge. I was the grudge that wouldn't budge. I was the cell where you spent the night. I was the darkness that stole the light. I was the veins that collapsed and died. I was the tears that your family cried. I was the track marks up your arm. I was the dealer who meant no harm. I was the money you stole from friends. I was the story that never ends. I was the prostitute selling flesh. I was the user buying death. I was the hospital emergency room. I was the needle abandoning doom. I was the flat line on the machine. I was the worst thing you've ever seen. I was the funeral nobody came to. I was the graves with no name to. I was the mother who blamed herself. I was the father who lost his health. But I was also the moment you said enough. I was the courage when times got rough. I was the sponsor who answered the phone. I was the strength you found on your own. I was the meaning in the basement room. I was the light that pierced the gloom. I was the 90 days clean and proud. I was the voice that spoke out loud. I was the shaking hands getting steady. I was the mind that was finally ready. I was the apology long overdue. I was the person who believed in you. I was the job that gave you purpose. I was the healing beneath the surface. I was the family that welcomed home. I was the path you walked alone. I was the year of sobriety. I was the newfound clarity. I was the amends that you made. I was the debt that you finally paid. I was the child who learned to trust. I was the love that conquered lust. I was the program that saved your soul. I was the broken made whole. I was the lapse that broke your heart. I was the end before the start. I was the shame that pulled you down. I was the needle on the ground. I was the family that lost all hope. I was the end of the hanging rope. I was the cycle spinning around. I was the loss that can't be found. But I was also the second chance. I was the end of the devil's dance. I was the strength to try again. I was the moment the healing began. I was the sponsor who never quit. I was the program that finally fit. I was the God of your understanding. I was a soft place for landing. I am the battle that's fought each day. I am the choice to walk away. I am the craving that still calls. I am the strength that never falls. I am recovery one breath at a time. I am the reason that you still rhyme. I am the devil and I am the sane. I am the can inside the can. Some days I'm winning, some days you are. Some days we're close, some days we're far. But in this dance of dark and light, you're learning how to win the fight. I am addiction. I am recovery. I am the pain and I'm the discovery. Every moment a choice you made. Give your soul and let it break.